All right, ladies and gentlemen, my first speaker for the day, when I read his profile, my mouth started watering, not thinking about him, but what he does behind the scenes with his team. My stomach started churning. I'm yearning for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, our first keynote speaker of the day. He's currently the managing director for Pizza Hut Asia Pacific, the largest Pizza Hut system outside of the United States within Yum Brands. He's also on the Merchant Advisory Council for Visa Inc. Asia and the board member of the Mobile Marketeers Association Asia. He will be speaking on the topic, marketing in an era of disruption. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vipul Chawla on stage, please.
Good morning. Let's have that one more time. Good morning. That's wonderful. You know, when Siddharth was making that introduction, and by the way, you do have a really amazing voice and personality, so congratulations on that. I thought you were talking about somebody else, but thank you for that very kind introduction. I'm honored and delighted to be here today. I'm a Bombay boy, born and raised here, and I know people complain about traffic and rains and this and that and the other, but I can tell you there is no city like this. It has a vibrancy, it has a buzz, it has youth, it has energy, and every time I come back, and I manage to come back maybe 3 or 4 times a year, if I'm lucky, I feel, wow, it's amazing. And so thank you Anurag, thank you Priyanka, thank you Exchange for Media for organizing this amazing event, which is far larger than I thought, because when I was originally invited, I thought we'll have maybe at most 30 or 40 people in the room, but I think there are certainly more than that. So I hope you enjoyed the session, because I certainly enjoyed putting it together. I'm going to share some thoughts with you about marketing in an area of disruption, and as some of you probably know, I spent 19 years with Hindustan Lever and Unilever in many parts of the world before I moved to Yum about 7 years ago. So I was a marketer. And I can tell you the way and manner in which marketing as a function has changed. If I were to apply for a job as a marketing director or a CMO, I probably won't be hired, because so much has changed in this area, and really kudos to all of you for staying ahead of that curve and all that you're doing. So marketing in an area of disruption, if you really think about it, after the Industrial Revolution that happened 150 years ago, we are in the middle of another revolution of sorts, whether it's marketing or technology. And what really excites me is we are in the middle of that revolution. Lots of people like me will come and tell you how it's going to be. You shouldn't believe a word of what we say, because we don't really know. But we'll give you our point of view at this point in time, because the way marketing and consumer and data and science and technology was 15 or 20 years ago, and what it will be 15 or 20 years from now, is going to be completely different. And the pace of change, which used to be every 50 years or 70 years, is now probably every 6 months to a year. And therefore, it's a really exciting time to be in the space of marketing and consumers and brand. Now, all of us who are in this space need to learn new skills, because things are changing so fast. But before we talk about skill set, I want to share with you some thoughts about something called mindset. Because a few years ago, I was exposed to the work of Professor Carol Dweck, who wrote about mindset and wrote about a subject called growth mindset. She's a Stanford professor, and she essentially did work with children to find that young children in public schools in Chicago, when posed with a mathematical problem, some of them responded saying that was easy and cracked it, and had this view that we're born with it, we're really smart, we were born with certain skills. And other children who struggled, but tried again, and struggled and tried again, with every attempt got better and better and better. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard this refrain growing up in India or in other parts of the world, but sometimes we are told when we are in school, when we run track or we play sports or we do well in a subject, that you're born with it. he's got the genes or she's got the genetic code for it. And that actually creates a mindset which is not a growth mindset. It's a fixed mindset because we think we are born with it and that's it. A growth mindset is one which is all about learning, being an avid learner, making mistakes, getting up again, trying again and again. And the beauty of her theory is that while many of us, because life happens and we get conditioned, get into a fixed mindset, because having gone through school and college and working life, we think this is it, these are our abilities. But growth mindset can be taught. It can trigger neural cells in our brains if we approach it in a certain way, and that can completely change the tone and manner in which we continue to learn. I'll give you an example. I had a video which I am now not going to play, so I'm going to skip the video, I'm going to give you a personal example. A couple of years ago, my daughter came to me, and she was in grade 10, and she said she wants to be a physicist. And I said to her, look, you're a girl. You're an Indian girl. But two bad statements, wrong statements came out of my mouth. My wife, of course, glared at me, and I said, why do you want to do physics, astrophysics? Why don't you do history or geography or English literature? Do literature, yeah, because it'll be easy for you. And in some ways, I was, through my fears, communicating my own fixed mindset to my daughter, which is, I want to keep you safe, I want to keep you secure, I don't want you to make mistakes. Obviously, and thankfully, she ignored everything that I said and is continuing to study physics and wants to launch rockets into space or whatever it is that she wants to do, and we'll see where that goes. And I hope she doesn't really do that, but if she wants to, it's fine too. And I think she demonstrated, like all children, and taught me a lesson about growth mindset, which was powerful. So the next video is about 2 minutes, but I'm not going to play it. I'll leave it behind, and you guys can see it later, because I'm going to switch. Sorry, excuse me. Can we go back one slide? Yeah, great. So in future, before we build skill sets, we're going to have to build our own mindsets. Now, modern marketing, as we now see it, in my judgment, requires the seamless integration of technology, data, and creativity to deliver personalization at scale. Now, the beauty of technology is that it surrounds us, and sometimes it can surprise us. Let's watch this video.
Everybody on the floor! This is a robbery! Don't move! Get down! Now. Don't move! Get down and stay down! You move! The money! Money! Open the phone!
Mr. Johnson? Eric Johnson?
How does she know your name? I don't know.
Your mobile app pinged us when you walked in. Looks like you were on our website and thinking about buying a house.
You moving out, man? I need my space.
You may think you can't afford a new home, but we have some amazing new rates. I could text them to you.
Oh, those are fantastic.
And Mr. Davis?
Yeah, it's me.
Did you click on one of our emails about consolidating your student loans?
Maybe.
Oh, well, we can help you with that too.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a robbery, remember? We gotta go! Come on! Can I lock those rates in on the app?
Well, of course you can, sugar.
Thanks.
Right, so I'm going to do a mic check. Is the mic working? So, technology and it can surround us like it just happened. I went from that mic to this mic in just a minute, and it was hopefully seamless as an experience. So that was, I guess, a take on arrival detection technology. By the way, my colleagues in India are currently working on an arrival detection technology, which once you log in and register with us, about 9 to 10 minutes before you arrive to a restaurant, we'll know that you're on your way. They'll put the pizza in. It'll come out in 8 minutes. And when you come out, it'll be packed and ready for you. So this stuff is available. And I'll come back to talking a little bit more about this in a minute. Because the key, we believe, to success going forward is about what we call consumer experiences which are read. Now, relevant and distinctive has been known to us for a very, very long time. So we've talked about uniqueness, relevance, intention to purchase. For those of us who've grown up in marketing, we know that. But the big epiphany for me and for us was a few years ago when we realized that consumer experiences need to be easy. And consumers value easy a lot more than they value better. Why is that? Byron Sharp, in his book, How Brands Grow, argues that essentially top of mind or salience, which is mental availability, is driven by relevance and distinctiveness, not differentiation. Differentiation is easy. Just being different for the sake of being different actually means nothing. But to translate salience into action is delivered by ease. And that really is the physical availability, which is why brands that are being successful today, whether you think of Airbnb, hailing a car that you don't own and being driven from one place to another has been an idea around for hundreds of years. But Uber really brings mental and physical availability together because of ease and technology and data and creativity. And so brands like Airbnb, Netflix, Uber, Ola, and so on and so forth are using this thought to be more and more successful. And this, I put to you, is something that's going to very significantly change our marketing way of thinking as we go forward. So 3 things that I want to talk about today for some point, and I'll switch back to some relevant and live examples, are around the digital consumer, what it means for our businesses, and last but not the least, how marketing is changing. I know you are all proficient marketers. There are some extremely talented, senior, leading business people in the room. You know all about smart search and social. And what I'm realizing is that we're all equally smart thanks to data, technology, and smartphone. If we were to do a show of hands here, and if I were to ask you how many in this room do not have a smartphone, you probably will have nobody raising their hand. Everybody here has a smartphone. Everybody has access to a 3G or 4G and so on. And therefore, it is all available to us. Consumers are increasingly and inherently smarter because information, which used to be power, is no longer that is something restricted. Search. Search has been with us for a very long time. But increasingly, search is going to be more and more driven by voice and after some more time by artificial intelligence. Watch this video.
Now, inspired by the smart display experiences, we've also been working to reimagine the assistant experience on the screen that's with us all the time, our mobile phones. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek into how the assistant on the phone is becoming more immersive, interactive, and proactive. So we're going to switch to another live demo. Hey Google, tell me about Camila Cabello.
According to Wikipedia, Carla Camila Cabello Estrabao is an American singer and songwriter.
So as you can see, we're taking full advantage of the screen to give you a rich and immersive response. Here's another. Turn down the heat.
Sure, cooling the living room down.
And for smart home requests, what you can see here is we're bringing the controls right into your fingertips. And here's one of my favorites. Hey Google, order my usual from Starbucks.
Hello, welcome back to Starbucks. That's one tall, non-fat latte with caramel drizzle. Anything else?
So no thanks.
And are you picking that up at the usual place?
So I'm going to tap yes.
Okay, your order's in. See you soon.
Yeah. So we're excited to share that we've been working with Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, DoorDash, Domino's, and many other partners on a new food pickup and delivery experience for the Google Assistant. We have already started rolling some of these out with many more partners coming soon.
Voice is going to be, and I guess you probably know it, but this is going to come faster and easier. And again, this technology is making it available for us in ways that we can barely believe. Now, I wish she had used a Yum or a Pizza Hut example, but we'll get to that in terms of the way we are working with them on technology. In our business, and food is perhaps one of the most blogged about and Instagrammed category in the world. Now, this is coming through data and not my conjecture or hope. And in our business, we say that the camera eats before we do. I don't know how it works here, but we find in restaurants across the world, presentation of food, how it looks, is becoming equally important as how it tastes, because the camera eats before we do. And we want to share everything. I have friends across the world. I know exactly what they've had for breakfast this morning because they have put that on their Facebook page and on their Instagram and so on and so forth. Why it's important to them to put it and why it's important for me to read it, I don't know, but we know about it. So that's the way life is changing, and it's awesome. It's wonderful for us. Now, what does this mean for businesses? This is a bit of an eye chart, and I'm not going to go through it line by line. but some very successful brands which have been around for 50, 60, 100 years have completely lost their value in the last decade or so. Brands that didn't exist so long ago have taken over all of that value. So brands, companies, and businesses who respond to making consumer experiences relevant, easy, and distinctive are the ones that are going to survive. I love it when Jeff Bezos of Amazon says that he looks for the point of friction in any customer experience and tries to eliminate that point of friction. And that's another way of saying we're trying to make it easy. And look at the change in the market value and the market cap of that organization. So marketing is certainly shifting the fortune of companies. And the transformation of business, if you look at brand and consumer along this triangle, really has three parts. There is the marketing, the organizational, and the technology transformation, all of which is happening at the same time. Now, the marketing transformation that we're talking about is about personalization at scale, using data, technology, and creativity. And historically, marketing was largely about creativity and experiences. That has to interact with an organizational transformation where we're trying to build skill sets only when we have a growth mindset. And the third, of course, is the technology transformation. Now, interestingly, many companies try and build their technology on their own and then go into an area of skill or competence that they don't necessarily have. But we are finding that technology is available to most organizations, sometimes free, often in partnership. And I will share with you some experiences about our own businesses and brands in the last couple of years, where we're getting cutting-edge technology, but it's more through external partnerships and what we call open innovation. Now, how will businesses be impacted as we market in an area of disruption? Again, what is on this slide is fairly obvious. It's about delighting our customers, doing it at lower and lower costs, and growing our business year on year. Now, for us to be a destination of choice, we obviously need to delight our customers and, of course, do it at lower and lower costs. That's obvious. But I'll give you two personal examples here. The first, just reducing costs alone, what happens? So I used to be the marketing director of the Hindustan Lever hair care business in India 15 years ago, which means I'm like really old now. And I was trying to drive penetrations of hair wash using shampoo sachets. And trust me on this, that based on the average length, density, and amount of hair on a woman's head in India, and we did lots of work, about 4 milligrams of shampoo is sufficient. And we were filling 7 to 8 ml in a sachet. So we went from 7 to 6 to 5 to 4, and it was, in our assessment, it was just fine. But we missed some pretty obvious things, the amount of lathering, the satisfaction, and the sheer weight of the product. And then there was, of course, some issues in terms of factory tolerance, where the tolerance was 5 ml, so sometimes you get a sachet with no shampoo at all. Driving down costs, just mindlessly, can have serious customer repercussions. The second example is on soaps. Lux. A great Lux soap has 80% total fatty matter. Trust me on this. But if you do a consumer test of 78 versus 80, there are no perceptible differences. So we started testing Lux 78 versus 80, 76 versus 78. We finally got down to 50 TFM. To say from a consumer testing standpoint, there was no perceptible difference. But in reality, there was. So driving down costs alone will take customers away. How many of you have heard of Kingfisher Airlines? Okay, hardly. Again, you are very young. How many of you have traveled by Kingfisher Airlines? Awesome. I won't ask how often because it doesn't work. How many of you have traveled Kingfisher Airlines internationally? I had this experience 15, 16 years ago, Bombay, London, Kingfisher Airlines. It was spectacular. You know, the air stewardess came to me when I sat down and said, "Can I take your spectacles?" I said, "Why?" She said, "Because can I clean them for you?" Sure, awesome. Clean the spectacles. There was a chandi ki thali, silver thali of Indian vegetarian food, which was constantly replenished. I have never eaten that kind of food, even in this amazing hotel or restaurant. And I'm saying to myself, the ticket of this flight is half of Jet Airways and 1/3 of BA. The service is 5 times better. I'm switching to Kingfisher Airlines. You know what? I'm never going to use any other airline again. Of course, the airline didn't survive. I probably made 2 flights on it. So delivering incredible customer value is great, but if we continue to do it mindlessly, respectfully, I hope there's notes from Kingfisher Airlines in this audience, and I'm sure you're great if you're here. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. We've all gone down that path of let's invest in the brand and so on and so forth. We have to find that right place because that's the only way in which the business model will survive. How is marketing changing in our piece of yum, in our part of the business? And again, these are very, very obvious things. The marketing model, roles and responsibilities, organizing ourselves and our operations. And I'll touch upon some of this as we go through this talk over the next 20 odd minutes or so. We click this through. There you go. In our philosophy in Yum, we start with our people. Globally, we have a lot of people in our business. We have 60, 70 people in every restaurant. We employ globally 1.4 million people, 500,000 people just in China. So lots of people. And our philosophy is we look after our people take care of our customers, the profit takes care of itself because the business is inherently not very complicated. How hard can it be to make a pizza or a fried chicken or a taco? It's not complicated. And in any case, we're often training 18, 19-year-olds, college students and so on to do this job temporarily as we teach them life skills. Not a complicated business. But what is changing for us is the role of technology, whether it is our employees, whether it's our brand, whether it's the organization. And if you look at the way our business and brand has evolved, and I'm not talking about the restaurant industry, we've gone from a single channel. So customers came into our restaurant, ate our food, had a great or hopefully great experience, went back and came back one more time. A dine-in experience was then changed or replaced with dine-in, delivery, and carry-out. So it became multi-channel. The physical experience became a digital experience because we now say that our store starts here. This is where the store actually starts. So it's become a digital experience. And now you can order a product, a pizza or a burger as anytime, anywhere, any point in time. It's an omni-channel experience. So it's continuous commerce. But before we get to the commerce of it, at the heart of it, our philosophy is that the customer experience will never exceed that of the team member. So when the team member has a great experience with the brand and the technology and the organization, the team member will be happy, and a happy team member delivers amazing experiences. I want to share with you a video about the operating philosophy of the organization which started 21 years ago. So we've kept the same strategy since 1997, where we say that the team member experience will never exceed the customer experience. And the guy running the restaurant, which is called RGM number 1, is the inverted leader of the organization to a point where our office in Singapore, which is the regional Asia Pacific headquarters, is called the Restaurant Service Center, not the head office. Our office in Delhi in India is again called the Restaurant Service Center. We service our restaurant and our restaurant managers. Let's watch this video. Hopefully with some voice. Can we just try it again, please?
Number one leader in this company, and that we never, ever forget it.
I feel proud to work with my RGM. The most valuable thing is that I always see him as a mentor.
One of our best RGMs, Mr. Amr Bahnasi, he is so passionate about his job, an absolute customer-oriented and a great team builder.
The best GM I have worked with? Robert Padiasek, RGM of Pizza Hut Gruba Kaśka restaurant in Warsaw. My first general manager. The true example of leader, boss, owner, and most important, customer-focused person.
Bu Nining works at Pizza Hut in Chimahi.
Watching Bu Nining directing employees, I love the eye contact. She can be direct and nice at the same time, a very inspiring quality. Her attention to detail is just astounding.
Anya Kruka, a young girl that was appointed to the position of GM of this restaurant, people respect the fact she's highly demanding because she's even more demanding toward herself. In the same time, she's very humble. And for me, this is the essence of true leadership.
I love him because he gives me that the reason to wake up in the morning and go to work.
one thing that we do when we go to a restaurant in terms of our operating philosophy is that the energy level in the restaurant, when we leave it, must be higher than when we went in. That's the test of our leadership, whether it's mine or anybody else in the company, regardless of whether the business is doing well or badly. That's about energy levels and how we leave people, whether we leave them excited. So our journey towards making it easy, and I talked about this, is really across our ecosystems. And I now want to, having talked about technology, growth mindset, some of the things and the trends that are happening with our customers, I want to bring it back to a business as basic as pizzas and burgers and so on. It doesn't get more simple than that. And these are our customer touch points, or what we call our moments of truth, from the time that we start interacting with the customer to the time we fulfill, to the time that we, of course, interact once they have had the experience with us. The first is fast and easy ordering. We want this experience to be simple, seamless, and easy. And technology is the enabler. Technology just absolutely makes it easy. Watch this video.
Hey, just that, thanks.
You sure?
Yeah.
Username?
Ooh, Nick M?
No.
NM 1983?
No.
Zandy Pops?
Sorry.
Zandy Pops?
No, okay. Don't worry, I'll help. What's your postcode?
Oh, it's GU749ZT.
Welcome back, Nick Forever. Please listen carefully to this bread license agreement before continuing with your purchase of a loaf of bread. If you do not, blah, blah, blah. You also agree not to use any bread-based product for any purposes prohibited by United Kingdom law, including without limitation, design, development, manufacture of missiles, chemical, nuclear, or biological weapons.
Tick.
I'm afraid you've timed out.
What? Sorry. Hello? Excuse me. Oh, yeah, hey.
Just one loaf, sir?
Yeah, we just...
What's your username?
It's Nick Forever, but number 4, not the...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
OK, I'm just going to check that you're a real person. Could you say that for me?
It's not even a word.
OK, how about this one?
You know what, forget it.
This one?
Hippo Potter Mice.
You're in.
Great, I'm in.
£8.85.
It's supposed to be 98 pence.
Plus express delivery.
What's that?
Oh, well, it's express delivery. It's fast. So there's, Standard.
Standard?
Standard delivery. That's £4.99.
Why?
Bread insurance. You didn't untick the don't decline bread insurance option.
You know what? I think I'll risk it.
It is quite close to the sell-by date.
Don't care.
98 pence it is. If you want to pop back in 5 business days, it'll be ready for your collection.
Well, I need it now, obviously.
Oh, OK. You want the take-home today price? Well, that's £3.27.
You know what? I'm going to go.
Come back soon.
I won't.
Digital makes it easy. Sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. And often when I've got guys in the organization showing me that, like, this is the big digital thing, I'm saying, look, stop thinking like a techie and start thinking like a consumer, because we've all had this experience. We're trying to buy a ticket for a flight, and you go through so many processes. At the end, you say, forget it, doesn't matter, I'll just do something else. We need to use digital and technology to make the customer experience seamless, frictionless, and easy, is what we are learning. Oh, there we go. Right. I'm going to share with you an example of how our business and brand is making progress across this circle, across all the elements, touch points that you see on this slide in Indonesia. And Indonesia, I put you, is a country in some ways not as advanced as India, very similar challenges, 15,000 islands, 250 million people, an infrastructure and an ecosystem which is probably weaker. Let's see what's possible.
When we looked at creating a new PhD mobile app for the Indonesian market, we identified what really made our potential and existing customers unhappy when using other food delivery apps. Customers were fed up having their orders canceled repeatedly due to bad traffic or weather conditions. In some apps, even putting in the address was almost impossible. For an extremely digital-savvy market, we knew the secret was to provide them an app that was fast, easy to use, and reliable. So we designed an app that is easier for everyone to get a better pizza, fast. We developed easy login using social. Even included a personalized greeting. pin drop location selection helps to locate your address without a hassle. Want to order really fast? Our quick reorder feature remembers saved favorite items to order in 3 easy steps. Our easy menu navigation helps you to choose what you want easily when hunger strikes. And the best part is, no more waiting, wondering, or cancellations. With our order tracker, you can track your pizza from the time you order until the delivery person brings it to your door. Our in-app rating and review feature allows customers to give us live feedback so we can continue in our search for improvement. And we believe in retaining and rewarding our loyal customers, so we even have a loyalty point system with rewards. How did we do? We've had over 350,000 downloads in just 2 months. And our customers have showed us some serious love. And best of all, our fans have told us that the easiest and most reliable way to order home delivery pizza is only from the PhD app.
So this is how it can potentially start to come together. And I can tell you there's lots of unfinished business, even in this Indonesian business of ours, but it's starting to come together. When the entire ordering experience is a single or a double click, it remembers your last order. Once you place your order, you know exactly when it's going to come. Because while we may say we're in the pizza business, in reality we're in the reliability business. When in a midweek, mom doesn't want to cook and wants to order pizzas for her children, she's looking for reliability. And this entire experience provides that ease and the reliability that we're seeing. We're now partnering with the best in the world, whether it's Visa or MasterCard, for single click or a double click authentication and payment process. I have an example here from the Philippines, which I will, in the interest of time, I'm going to move on because I want to save some time for questions. But this is seamless and it works with the best service providers and partners that you can find in the world. Loyalty. Food is habit-driven, as is many other things, but food certainly is. And therefore, our ability to track our customers, remember what they said, remember what they ate last time, remember the time of week, day part, etc. Because our food habits on the weekend and weekdays are quite different. Food habits for dinner and lunch are different. This just makes it easier because we make it smarter for our customers. I came yesterday from Singapore to Bombay by Singapore Airlines. Now, many of you may have traveled by Singapore Airlines. It's a great airline. Jet's great too. But what Singapore Airlines does is before I walk into the lounge at Changi Airport, they know I'm coming because my mobile phone tells them that. They know exactly what I eat. So I like to have a roti prata before I board because comfort food. I'm Indian vegetarian on all of my flights, and the Indian vegetarian on Singapore Airlines is phenomenal. You get things like papad and achar and dahi and this, that, and the other, ends with the gulab jamun and so on. It is phenomenally personalized. It is great. I'll give you another example. I was flying recently from my office in Singapore to the US, and I had to fly American Airlines via Hong Kong. I got onto the plane and the air stewardess came and said, hey, listen, we believe you have an Indian vegetarian meal. And I said, yeah, that's awesome. An Indian vegetarian meal on American Airlines. This is so cool. So she said, can I bring it? I said, yeah, sure. And she brought the first course, which was a gulab jamun. So I said, I think you got the order wrong, ma'am, because this one comes last. So I went, of course, to the deck and galley and said, hey, listen, this is number one, this is number two. So understanding customers, building loyalty can be all about getting it very, very right and getting it very, very wrong. And of course, all of us have experienced this kind of stuff in our business. So I'm again going to skip the US loyalty example because I don't think there'll be anything particularly new for you. You guys are well ahead of the curve over here.
Introducing...
I am excited about my last example. It is a very poorly shot video. I apologize. It was shot on my iPhone, so I apologize for that. But about a year and a half ago, we were approached by SoftBank because many companies are building robots, but SoftBank has built a robot called Pepper, which not just allows you to transact, do business, but it also responds to human emotion. So it knows when you're happy or angry and so on and so forth. And we set up 100 of these 100 robots in Japan. In our KFC business, we set up a few in Singapore, and we then use, of course, another external vendor in China. I'll talk about the China story first. So in China, when you walk into a Pizza Hut restaurant, there's a greeter who is a robot. You tap her head. She takes you to your table. She shows you the QR code. You place the order. You scan your phone. Order directly goes to the back of house. They put the food and it comes to you through the robot, or sometimes manually and physically. And at the end of it, the robot asks you to rate the experience on a scale of 1 to 5. Now, in China, red is a good color. And red is 5 and green is 1. Of course, being from overseas, we all were delighted and we rated green because we thought that's the right number. But that was a 1 on 5. And of course, the robot cried. So I'm perhaps one of the few people in life who's ever made a robot cry. But robots are becoming increasingly more and more human. The other example I want to share with you is a guy called Toby. Toby is the head of innovation for MasterCard based in Singapore. And Toby was trying to place an order with Pepper the robot in one of our Singapore restaurants. It's not a very well shot video. So we're going to try and raise the volume if we can, please. And if it's not entirely clear, I'll try and explain it to you. Can we play this video, please?
Welcome to Pizza Hut. How may I help you today? Please note that at any point of time you would like to leave the session, please say, end session, or say, check out. To place your order, please let me know what you would like to order from.
Pizza.
Pizza selected. Please let me know the pizza by number or name.
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni selected. Wow, nice one. Please let me know your preferred pizza size by number or name.
Regular.
Regular selected. I am sure you will like it. How many would you like to have?
1.
1 pepperoni has been added to your order. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Check out.
Sure. Would you like to add Wing Street snack box?
No.
Okay. Please say, confirm order to proceed.
Confirm order.
Sure. Now please pick a tag number and let me look at the QR code or enter tag number on screen to proceed. You have entered tag number 18. Do you confirm the number?
Yes.
Thank you. Your order is being processed. Payment is under processing. Please wait. Great. Please check the transaction status on your mobile. If any question, please ask my colleague about your order.
So Pepper, the robot, will recognize you, recognize your credit card. If it's been registered earlier. It'll remember your previous order. It will sometimes suggest stuff to you that's on special. It will take the entire process of what was otherwise a human intervention. And Pepper, the robot, also responds to human emotion. Technology is around us. It's awesome because this experience, as the video was very poorly shot, and I take responsibility because I shot that video on my iPhone, but the technology is absolutely real. It's available. And this is not something that's going to happen 5-10 years from now. It's available today as we speak, and we are testing it. So we're just getting started, honestly. We are a very simple business. We sell pizzas and burgers and sandwiches and tacos for a living. A lot of the technology that I've shared with you is actually built by our partners for us. We don't have to necessarily invent this technology ourselves. What we bring to the party and what brands bring to the party and marketers and disruptors will bring is the aspect of ease, relevance, and of course, distinctiveness. But making it easy, I submit to you, is going to be the heart of the change that we look at in the next several years to come. So in summary, I'm going to leave you with 3 thoughts. The first, marketing as we see it will be all about bringing personalization at scale using technology, data, and creativity. All of it together, not one, not the other. Red experiences. Now, relevant and distinctive is, of course, par for the course. That is about mental availability. It's about top of mind, as Byron Sharp argues. But transferring salience into action is about physical availability and making it easy. And therefore, making it easy is going to probably beat everything else that we seek to do as we build our brand experiences as we go forward. And therefore, depending on the role that you play, whether you're a marketing director, a CMO, an agency leader, new skill sets through a growth mindset is probably going to be at the heart of what's going to drive success and disruption as we go forward. Personally, I can tell you it is perhaps the most exciting time to be in the industry in any part of the sphere that we are currently playing, because change is upon us. This change is exciting. We're in an incredible city, Mumbai, the city I love. I look at the buzz of everybody around you, and I can tell you, I wish I was starting my career again 20 years ago. I would have applied and started again at the bottom, because my goodness, it's going to be so exciting. We're in the midst of another revolution, like the Industrial Revolution that happened 150 years ago. What's going to happen at the end of this will be very different from where we started, but I couldn't think of a more exciting time. So thank you for being here and for giving me this opportunity. Again, big thanks to Anurag and the Exchange for Media team for organizing such a great event. I'm delighted to be here. I believe we still have 5 minutes, 40 seconds left, so in case you have any questions for me, I'm happy to take them. Otherwise, we can move on to the next item on the agenda. But I'm going to stand here for a minute to see if there are any questions at all.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman there. Sir, since our hostess partied late last night, she's come a little late, so imagine that I'm a pretty hostess with a mic.
Sure, thank you. Hi, I'm Milind. The question I had was, I mean, first of all, great presentation and fantastic examples. How much of the easy are we, since we're at the cusp of doing all of these experiences for so many more people, are we including it for disabled, from an inclusiveness point of view as well? Yeah. Because I see a lot of the examples included seeing or talking and listening to devices, robots, etc.
That's a fantastic question. And look, I can tell you there are some amazing technologies in that. Firstly, can we give a big round of the first question of the day? Well done.
Sir, I gave him a pat on the back, yeah. He thought it was a massage, but it was a pat.
Well done. Technology is making it easy even for differently abled, because arrival detection, for example, doesn't require for you to be able to see or tap. It will know that you're coming and so on. So I'm probably the last guy in this room who's an expert on how we are using technology for differently abled. But I would tell you that technologies are available and surround us to a far greater extent that we imagine. And one example for you is arrival detection. You can be differently abled, but we will know, or somebody who has that technology will know that you're coming. And if there has been a previous experience which has been registered, then the whole experience becomes seamless. I don't know if I've answered your question, and I'm probably not the most capable person to do that. There will be others today that will follow, but that's one example of how that is happening. Yes, we've got 2 questions, 3.
Which one? So that gentleman or this one, sir?
You decide. I'm happy.
Okay, the rugged man. You own that milkshake thing, right?
Yeah.
So you give him a pizza, he'll give you a milkshake, sir.
Awesome.
Sir, I'm Yashwant. I'm an entrepreneur having a company called the Thick Shake Factory in the QSR space. So your talk was very relevant to me and really an eye-opener. Thank you so much for that. My question here is with respect to the robotics part that you just showed.
Yeah.
So in the Indian context, where the labor or the manpower cost is lesser than that of other countries, how do you see the robotics coming up in India, especially the QSR sector, the way you have just showed in Japan, in other words?
That was a great question. I'm glad you asked it, because typically when we show artificial intelligence and robots, the one natural question that comes is around costs, people, displacement, and labor. And I can tell you that these technologies are not really being developed to replace people. In fact, I shared with you the example of Pepper, the robot, or for example, the robot that we have in China. For the next 5 to 10 years, we probably have more people in that store just managing their technology and less. So it's not about replacing people or cost per hour and so on. Let me just put that aside. It is about ease. It is about making the customer experience frictionless. And my advice to you as an entrepreneur in India, and you're going to shape a lot of things in the industry, a lot more than you can imagine today, is that even when you do look at applied artificial intelligence or robotics, I would put to you that use the lens of ease rather than the lens of cost, because that is what will make a difference in terms of making the experience frictionless for our customers.
Thank you so much, sir.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
You sure? You're happy?
Yeah.
I love your hairstyle too, brother. We'll talk about hairstyle designing in the next session. Sir, we're running short of time.
Okay.
But thank you so much. A round of applause. So you want to ask a question? You got to make it quick because there's this Dawn girl called Kara who's telling me to wrap it up quickly, all right?
I'm sorry to ask this question, but with a concern, like what ingredients have been used in food? I mean, there is a lot of videos going on, with a lot of topmost companies in India. So what are your thoughts, or how can you make it more transparent in your industry? Like basically the food ingredients going into the final manufacture and the cost or concern in lowering the cost.
That's a great question, and every forum I go to, in some shape or form, this question always comes. So thank you for asking what might have been on other people's minds too. Food, firstly, is, and I can talk about our organization because I can't, we can sit down if you like, it's fine. Unless you want to have a conversation, we can have that too, either now or later. Our ingredients are with global vendors. These are globally audited. These are something that is completely transparent. And if I talk specifically about pizza, again, as I said, the business is not complicated. It is dough flour that is made in the store every day. It's got cheese, it's got sauce, and it's got locally sourced toppings, which we can trace all the way back. So we have traceability and so on. Then we have controls and processes around safety, around how we check for the quality. So international organizations have global standards regardless of the company or the country in which they operate. And you should just set your mind to ease. Interestingly for me though, because I sit on some of the Asia regional bodies, every country in terms of its own standards is raising it to global standards too. So therefore, there was many years ago the philosophy that we can operate within the country standards. It doesn't matter. Every country has the same global standards. We are not into law enforcement. So we can't tell you how others are enforcing it. That's not our job. We can be audited, completely transparent. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the managing director for India, Unnad Verma, for our business, has a sign saying that if you want to come to the back of house and kitchen, you're very welcome. So you can do that.
So
but
one more question.
Clearly you want to have a discussion on this.
So that buzzer came, sir. They're going to cut 5 rupees per minute from my salary, which is 10 rupees.
In any way, can blockchain be a technology enabler in this, in the raw material process?
I have no idea. I don't know about blockchain. I'm not the expert in this. I don't know. I don't know about blockchain.
But thank you so much, sir, for that lovely questions. This will be the last one for this session at least. Can I request Mr. Anurag Batra to give a memento to sir? A lovely presentation, sir. Love the videos. Say hi to Pepper. I'm a big fan of him.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. Come on. All right, a humble request. Hashtag check. All right, hashtag TechMunch on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Make us trend. It'll be great. We'll do a selfie, sir, so that we can start the hashtags. All right, sir. Anurag sir, I want the lovely smile that you always give to me. Here, come here. Okay, everybody put your hands up. Let's show some energy. Come on. Okay, hashtag TechMunch. Thank you so much, sir. So one question I have for you, sir. You said when you bought a flight before that you have parathas. How much of your own pizzas do you eat, honest to God?
Lots.
Lots. Like once a day, twice a day, or once a week?
Once a week.
Anurag has it every day. Trust me on this one. Thank you so much, sir. Please take your seat.